ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. I am your host, Michael Karvelis, and this is Daily Dive. It is Thursday, April 9th, 2026, and this show begins now. We are live streaming via the airwaves of North American Talk Radio's YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in once again via comments, liking, and subscribing to this channel for other great shows and live sports. This is crazy. It's pretty good. Of course, thank you for keeping me always on point, Mr. CLL. On today's awesome show, we're going to get to our championship recipes. We're going to catch back up on that with the Georgia Swarm, Toronto Rock, Colorado Mammoth, and the Buffalo Bandits. Then we will get to the latest in my could happen via NLLstats.com, which is 2 weeks left of NLL regular season action. And finally, we will create the narrative for week number 20. Before we get started, if you are in the United States, you want NLL merchandise, especially for the playoffs, head over to natalkradio.us/NLL, and it takes you straight to the NLL's online store, where you can get merchandise for teams like Georgia, Colorado, and Buffalo. And if Vegas, San Diego, etc. clinch the playoffs, more teams for you to choose from. They also have player shirts and all kind of good stuff on there. natalkradio.us/NLL. Blah. Can't talk. So, as a few of you, wow, may have been aware, I have been doing my championship recipes. I love getting stopped up first in the morning. I've been doing championship recipes where I pretty much become a chef in here, and I try to break down what does it look like for a team to win the NLL finals, like what has to happen. So let's first get to the Georgia Swarm. I want to first say, we're not going to be doing the cups and the teaspoons thing. I feel like that gets boring after a while. I think the Swarm, first of all, would need, I won't say need, but it would be nice for them to have a first round home field advantage. I know some players may not live locally, but I think the idea of traveling to Buffalo, which they've done before, or traveling to Colorado, etc., it's not really going to help them in round number one. I think if they make the 3 or the 4 seed and they play a team like Colorado, Toronto, Vegas at home, I think that helps them a little bit because it is just a single game elimination. And so I think that having a home playoff game in round one is going to help them. Now, another thing with the Georgia Swarm, their defense has to do the heavy lifting here. And I would say, oh yeah, obviously, the offense should step up. But to pretend like the scenario for the Swarm to win a title is, oh, their offense suddenly clicks, is super unrealistic at this point in time because they've made it unrealistic on themselves. They've shown us all year their offense sucks, to put it quite frankly. So with that being said, their defense, led by a goalie who's having an all-time great save percentage, led by Jordan McIntosh, transition, whatever you want to call him, led by rookie Michael Grace. They have got some good pieces. Mike Manley, they've got to continue to be all-time great, and that is one path. Like if Brett Dobson goes 80% every game, I think they look good. Also, another thing, I don't know if I trust the Swarm in a 3-game series. I think what they need to do is steal game one like almost every time. I'm not sure if I think that the series goes on, that the offensive talent of other teams will not prevail. So if I'm Georgia, if I do get past round one, then winning game one of the next 2 rounds is vital for me, because you don't want to lose the first game. It means you have to win 2 in a row, again, against rosters on paper that are almost always better than yours. And I think that, again, talent prevails, especially if your offense has been this bad. Another thing I want to add, because again, I told you guys, it looks like it's impossible, but I do think one guy on offense has got to be a hero. And by hero, I mean, I don't care if it's Lyle, I don't care if it is Shane Jackson, I don't care if it is Nolan Byrne, the rookie. Some guy on their offense has got to be the guy this postseason. Because this committee thing of scoring less than 10 goals or scoring 8 goals and hoping it works is not going to work for them. Especially when we see teams like Buffalo and Vancouver and Saskatchewan and Colorado. You have to have a superstar. Maybe it is Lyle Thompson. Maybe that's just the layup answer here. Are we sure? I don't know. So I think someone has to be an offensive superstar combined with your great defense. I'm not asking for a great offense. I'm asking for a guy like Lyle to get a hat trick almost every game or more. It's a big ask, but it's how teams like this win the finals. Also, one other thing I'll add, kind of doing the playoff path, someone has to knock out Buffalo. Maybe easier said than done, obviously. And it may happen. Well, there's a chance Buffalo does not even make the finals. But if I'm Georgia, I don't want to meet Buffalo. Because every single time I've been watching this team, they always beat Buffalo, and they always lose to Buffalo. Even if it's close, they lose to Buffalo. So I think they're equipped. Again, chances are the Swarm do not win the finals, obviously. But if there is a path, it is all-time great defensive run, one offensive player, maybe not one for the entire playoffs, but every game, one guy has got to be awesome. That could be an easier ask. But if those things happen, there's a chance. But right now, everyone knows that's all there is for Georgia. But hey, it's in the recipe book. If you make the dance, there's a possibility of winning the dance. Even if you have the smallest piece of the pie, you have an opportunity. Side note, let's say Vegas or any team makes the playoffs in the final 2 spots. Does Georgia have on paper, no matter who gets in, does Georgia have the worst on paper roster? I don't think that's shade being thrown. I think the recipe book is showing me, on paper at least, Georgia might have the worst on paper roster. Where's their offense? Defense doesn't really have any massive names, and Brett Dobson's being awesome. But I gotta know, who is there? Like who do you put them up against? Because I don't know if any roster compares to if they compare to any roster. Total, both. I'm honestly asking. I don't care if you want to. If it's just offense, they've got no chance. If it's the total roster, they've got a worse roster than I think maybe Halifax, than all of them. I don't know who they have a better roster than. Today's Ottawa, Rochester, and Halifax. I mean, that's a story for another day. But like, I won't get to that now. But I'm curious, again, if we're talking Georgia Swarm, I don't know who their roster is better than. I think their all-time great defense this year is the path here. But I don't know. Well, let's bring up this list. Are they have a better roster than Vegas? I don't think so. I don't think Dobson being awesome makes up for every other thing Vegas has to match. Ottawa, I don't think Dobson being better than Higgins makes up for all the other stuff. Rochester, like, they are not better on paper than any other team that's going to make the playoffs. I think they might have the fourth, like Calgary, Philadelphia, obviously, and I think that's it. I think you can, I mean, obviously, Oshawa's shown that doesn't matter. On paper, though, coming to the season, Georgia's got the third or fourth worst roster in the NLL. So because they had a good season, do they all of a sudden have a good roster? I don't know. Man, this is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I wish I was more prepared to. I didn't realize that thought was going to come in my head, but it did. But again, the recipe here for Georgia is the all-time great defense and someone being a superstar. It's not a big chance, but there is a recipe in there, and they just have to figure it out. We come back, we're going to talk about the Toronto Rock's recipe to win the NLL Finals. You're watching Daily Dive.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening. You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. I am your host, Michael Karvelis. Once again, our new start time of 1 o'clock is currently 1:17 here on the East Coast. It is Thursday, April 9th, 2026. We're doing championship recipes right now. I just told you guys, I feel like Georgia Swarm need to just have an all-time great defensive run. I don't know if they can, given the teams above them, but that is their path. And, of course, one guy stepping up. Oh, in a home playoff game in round one would do pretty well. Also, I feel like winning game ones would be good for them. Now, remember, stay tuned for my latest and could happen and creating the narrative for week number 20. Also, stay tuned for the Mammoth and the Bandits recipe. For now, we're going to get to the Toronto Rock. Now, the Rock, I had a segment like a couple of weeks ago where I was wondering, like, what is the weakness of the Toronto Rock? Like, I was genuinely curious about that. And I was like, what is it, the rookies? Obviously, like, I don't know what it is. Even this year, it happened again where they cannot beat Buffalo, which, of course, I'll get to very shortly here. But, like, what is their weakness? And then on Monday, myself and Pat Gregoire kind of thought about in real time, their offense doesn't really have any unpredictabilities to it. Meaning, it's way too predictable. So, with that being said, I think one of the first things for a Toronto Rock championship recipe is who will be your sharpshooter. I don't want to say Steph Curry, whether that's doing too much, like asking too much, but every game, someone from the outside has got to be cooking. I think that whether it's Chris Boucher, Challen Rogers, if he wants to do that, even though he's really good at crashing inside, or Josh Dowick, who has still not found a shot, Mark Matthews can shoot from outside if he wants to. One or two guys every game has got to provide some flair to the offense. The reason being, everyone on that team, all credit to them, wants to work hard and get inside. Unfortunately, all five guys on offense should not be doing that. So, I think, and it's not like a hard problem to fix, but just you need to have a couple of shooters every game step up, and that it can get you far. Comments here. So it's funny. As soon as I did that, I was like, that was a really crappy one. I thought I could have done better, but yeah. But no, I think the outside shooter would be fantastic for them. Next up, Nick Rose has to be regular season Nick Rose. This season, Nick Rose has over an 80 save percentage. He is shown to be a couple or a few percentage points higher than Troy Holochuk, who was very good this year. Every year, at least since I've watched this league, Nick Rose, he's good, but he's not great. And this postseason, especially with Vancouver, Saskatchewan, and Buffalo, and now Colorado's offense in the way, Nick Rose has to be consistently really good to great. I'm not saying Nick Rose has to be all-time like Brett Dobson does for Georgia, but I think Nick Rose has to be very good. Because this team, when their offense starts to die again, which it will, he has got to go save for save. And if he cannot, they're going to lose a 7-9 type of game. And I think if their goalie, and again, it's asking a lot, but if Nick Rose can go save for save, they can win the 9-7 game. But a large part of me is thinking, you know what? They're going to be on the short end of that stick. Nick Rose, show up. He can, but right now, is he kind of a playoff choker? I'm using that term lightly because I don't really know about his historical big moments, but he's got to be very good, especially in games where their offense does not work. Nick Rose has got to be awesome. Now, next up, the rookies have to keep shining bright. I know I mentioned the outside shooters, sure. Owen Hiltz and CJ Kurtz could also be those guys. But this year, it is very apparent, which is crazy, that Owen Hiltz and CJ Kurtz are the most reliable goal scorers on the team. I don't even think Jimmy Dowk in his wildest dreams could have thought of that when he drafted those two guys 1 and 2, especially for year one. But now that they have set that standard for themselves, I think Hiltz and Kurtz have got to step up for themselves, like for the team. I think that now that they themselves have set a high bar, kind of like Ty Kurtz and Alex Simmons in year one, you have to keep performing. They probably will, but CJ Kurtz and Owen Hiltz cannot get scared of the lights. Sam English and Hugh Kelleher, I'm not worried about because they don't do the offense that much. But when those defenses start to become a 3-game series of Saskatchewan or Vancouver, it's going to get tough. Can these rookies still be fearless? I think that'll help them a lot. And finally, it has to be said, figure out WTF or H is the reason why you figure out why you can't beat Buffalo. This could be maybe Matt Sawyer puts on the coaching clinic of his life. Remember when Kurt Malosky, after the Bandits beatdown, said maybe he didn't have his team prepared? Remember how that was like a week or two, I think it was a week removed from Matt Sawyer with The Rock when they lost to the Wings? I'm telling you right now, Matt Sawyer is prone to those type of games. So whether it's him or whatever's going on with Buffalo, you have to beat them eventually. And I don't know if how the seeding falls, you'll meet them in round 1. For your sake, you better hope. I almost wonder this. Would Toronto rather meet them in a 1-game series? Because for whatever reason, they can never beat them. So why not the one-off chance you do? That would be great, because then in the 3-game series, you have to do it twice. And no one thinks that's possible because they never do it once. But if there is a chance in hell, maybe they play Buffalo round 1 and beat them then. But other than that, though, winning 2 out of 3 games, historically speaking, it happens every year, does not work. So find out why. Like I said, whether it's coaching, whether it's Nick Rose, whatever, you have got to beat Buffalo. And maybe it is a round 1 thing. I don't know. I think Toronto has a chance to win it all. On my title pie, when I did the thing with Pat Gregor on Monday, let me get to that, I didn't give them much. I gave Toronto 5%. The most I'll go is 10%, but like 5% feels about right. I think that their path, it seems bright, or their path seems like it's attainable, but the Buffalo thing, and then like Del Bianco and Matt Vince and Chiliano being better than Nick Rose, I don't know. We'll see. But I think there is a path for Toronto. All right, when we come back, let's do Colorado, and stay tuned for Could Happen, and of course, creating the narrative. You're watching Dilly Dive.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. I am Michael Karvelis. We're doing championship recipes. I just talked about the Swarm and the Rock. Now we got the Mammoth and the Bandits. Colorado, I mean, their path seems pretty good as we're doing our championship recipes here. Head over to natalkradio.com and click the event tickets tab, by the way. That is not limited to just U.S. residents. So if you're in Canada and you want to go to the next your playoff game or one of the final games of the season, natalkradio.com, click the event tickets tab today. So, Colorado Mammoth championship recipe. Dylan Ward, this is like if there is like a measuring size for this, it's not much. But whatever that was against Vegas in the fourth quarter, more of that. Like, when Colorado won their title, that was the year where in the postseason I kind of watched, and then the next year, season 1 of Daily Dive happened. I think Colorado, if they get more of that from doing like the vintage Dylan Ward, I say vintage, he's not even that old, but they get like the turn it back, like I'm one of the best goalies in the world, or maybe the best one today. They got a real shot. Like Dylan Ward is nuts when he. I don't know if it's a turn it on and turn it off for him. I don't know if it's just he gets in the zone, but whatever happens, more of that, because that was Vegas might have won that game, and that game ended up being like 13-8. But if you watched it, you were like, "Oh my, Vegas might actually win this game in Denver," and Dylan Ward's like, "Ha, LOL," and you're like, "What the holy cow? What's incredible stuff there?" Also, the offense has to remain top heavy. By that, I mean Eli McLaughlin probably not coming back at this point. I forgot the update on that. We know Ryan Lee's out. We know that Liger has been out for a while. I don't see why he would come back now. And maybe I forgot that he's out for the season anyways. But obviously, the depth for them may not be there. And to be fair, Andrew Q is awesome. Will Malcolm has been awesome. Maybe I should word it this way, but like forget the top heavy part. Jack Hanna might have to become more of a goal scorer. Remember before the season, I kind of said, is he even a top 25 player in the NLL? I feel like there was a little bit of flack for that, but he's not. He's a very good player. But Jack Hanna, even this season, has not scored a lot. Let me pull up the old handy-dandy NLStats.com real quick here, because I just want to remind the people about Jack Hanna this year. So far this year, he's had 20 goals. That's not good. I know he's played 2 less games than Andrew Q, but in terms of 20 goals, that ranks all the way down at tied for 48th in the NLL. And I feel like the hype that he receives, you have to be better. I don't care for the points. If you watch Colorado games and you think Jack Hanna, he's been good, but I don't think he's lived up to the hype this year. And again, sure, I'm telling you right now, if you watch these games, he's not standing out. And what we saw, the talk about him, I love Jack Hanna. I think he looks really cool when he stands out. But you cannot convince me that Jack Hanna has been standing out when you watch Colorado games. Against the Dogs, Will Malcolm was who stood out by a long shot. Dylan Ward stood out. I don't remember Jack Hanna doing much of anything in that game. And in that game, he had 3 points. I asked you, do you remember what they were? Because I don't. Those were 3 assists. But Jack Hanna, like, a hat trick against Buffalo, I need more of that. I'm not saying a hat trick every game, but Jack Hanna eventually, I think he's better than 20 goals this year. Again, he's only played 13 games. Yeah, 13 in points per game. Okay, cool. He's getting a bunch of secondary assists. Like, Jack Hanna, his name carries more weight than that. He should be up there way better than what he's doing. And I don't think he's been that way. Now, obviously, his potential is still bright. He's only 26. But eventually, they might, if they want to win a championship, Jack Hanna has to be that guy. No, yeah, I know. Yeah, of course not. But like, in the end, we all know that Jack Hanna has to be, especially with no Liger or Ryan Lee. And I think Hanna's capable, I think, but he has to be that. Sometimes, he's always. I think he's always the third option. He needs to be second or first some nights, and not saying because if that's the game plan, but if needed, if Andrew Q is not hitting from 35% outside, then Jack Hanna has to step up. I think he can. He might. He probably will. But I got to see it. And finally, for Colorado, win at home. Now, on my could happen, little sneak preview here, I think they finish 5th in the standings. I think the Mammoth at home, though, are much better this season, especially. Their offense clicks way more. So if they do get it past round 1, whether it's home or the road, they cannot lose their home playoff games. Because on the road, they're not great. And they can be great on the road. They have not been this season. They're just 4-3. And that, come on. I think Colorado at home, if they win their home games, that would be a massive step in the right direction for them. What are some things you want to see from Colorado? I think Jack Hanna, just a little bit more from him. I think Dylan Ward, the clock turn back would be great. And I think that their home field advantage, take advantage of that, and they should be fine. I think Colorado is like one of those teams where it's like, how many people will actually predict them to win once the playoff starts? I feel like will be less than what it actually is. And I feel like they should have more respect. But we're going to see a lot of Vancouver, Saskatchewan, and Buffalo, as they should. But Colorado could be and should be maybe right there. I'll have to see. Let's talk Buffalo when we come back, and then we'll get to our could happen and creating the narrative. You're watching Daily Dive.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
It is 1:37 here on the East Coast. We're about 35 minutes into today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Dive. So I do want to give a shout out to somebody. I don't know why I did not write down this person's last name. I knew I should have. I think I know what it is. I just want to verify. Is it Hayden Yerbury? I want to make sure I get this name correctly. Hayden Yerbury. I think it's Yerbury. I know if you guys heard, but there's a kid up in Canada, a 15-year-old who had a lacrosse on-field accident, and they think he'll pull through, but just tough times. And we got tagged in the video by Morning Shoot Around, so I thought I'd say it on the air too. Just support for Hayden Yerbury if whether you donate or share the videos being shared by Morning Shoot Around and or the Berards, that would be appreciated. That's a scary thing, man. Sports are scary. And how cool would it be when the 15-year-old comes out on the other side of this to see the support? That would be kind of cool. So I just want to give a shout out to Hayden. And again, you can find all our socials at daily.lax. On Instagram, it's still in the story. You'll see in the story for the next 7 hours. So it's still up there. You'll see the morning shoot around thing, and that's just share that video. Good stuff by the guys who fired that the podcast back up for that. That was kind of cool. By Tino, Pace, and Del Bianco. So you're saying morning shoot around lives. Woohoo! All right. Final championship recipe of the day. We still have 2 more of these things to read when the teams do clinch the playoffs. But our final one today will be Buffalo. Folks, the best part about this championship recipe, this thing is like a 4-peat kind of thing. I don't know if it's dessert. I don't know if it's an entree, but it is labeled 4-peat. That's crazy. The Chicago Bulls won 3 straight twice. They didn't do 4-peats. No one does 4-peats. I'm trying to think of it, like team sports. I don't remember the Boston Celtics. Do we count that? Like the 1960s, like you had to be there. Like I don't know if many of us were. Jimmy Johnson. Like I watch a lot of sports. Like Jimmy Johnson, NASCAR won 6 in a row. But again, I don't know how that compares here. If Buffalo wins 4, I mean, unbelievable. This is not like a salivate on Buffalo. It's more of a how can they make it happen. So part of the great thing about having an all-time great athlete on your team like Matt Vince is even at his ripe age of like 40-something or other, Matt Vince is still, you can ask him to do awesome things and he'll probably pull through. So Matt Vince is, I'm going to make sure I get this right, is 43 and will turn 44 2 months from today on June 9th, in case you're wondering. But he's 43 for the next 2 months. And a guy like Matt Vince, kind of like LeBron, kind of like MJ, kind of like Tom Brady, if you want to go there, there are guys in sports history, or women, that if the lights are brightest, it don't matter the age. It's just a number in terms of their on-field performance. That's crazy. But for whatever reason, Matt Vince has found a way to turn back the clock again. And I think it will have to continue in the playoffs. Because I know that they looked really good offensively against Vancouver, but the previous 2 games, they were really bad offensively into the fourth quarters. And I think Matt Vince is going to have to pull 2 or 3 rabbits out of his hat, out of his old hat once again. It seems unfair to ask of him, but he has earned the right that we can expect that of him and not be disappointed. But I think 2 or 3 more times, probably 3 more times this postseason, he's going to have to say, okay, I know it hurts, but ta-da, you have to do it again. We'll see. Another thing, who will be your third scorer? It can be Ian McKay, but after Dane and Josh, every single night, they need a Kyle Buchanan or Ian McKay or Joe Terrence to step up. More on Joe in a minute. But I think a guy every single game to step up as a third scorer is going to help them. Yeah, their defense might not require that guy to step up, but he might be needed a couple of times in the biggest moments. As it last year was Ian McKay, easy money, right? They need to happen again. And finally, Joe Rez has looked every bit of his age at times this year. Last game, he was awesome. I'm not saying he has to be awesome every game, but Joe Rez is going to take probably at least 5 shots on goal a game, maybe 10, probably it's like 5 to 10 shots on goal a game. Can he score a goal a game in the playoffs? I feel like if that happens, you're expecting everything else to fall into place. Buffalo probably wins the whole thing. But I think that he'll be fine. But I think that one of the things that like guarantees them a championship is that Joe Rez is scoring a goal a game. Maybe it's not a goal. Maybe it's like a goal or 3 points a game. I don't know. But Joe Rez he's going to be asked to shoot a couple of times. And if one or two of them are falling, they're on their way because by that point everything's clicking. So on Monday, thank you, Adam. On Monday, myself and Pat Gregoire did a title pie as part of our overreactions, and I gave Buffalo actually 60%. I think 60% for Buffalo. It seems like a lot, but at this point, it feels like the right number for me. And then we still have 2 more weeks to go, by the way. My theory might change on this, but I think they deserve at least 50%. I'll say 60 for my own take, but at least half the title pie goes to them. And so if that's what your percentage is, probably it's at least 50% for me. But again, I don't feel like out of all the scenarios I'm going to give for the recipes, one of the things I know is an easy, sometimes recipes call for, and I'm not a cook by any means, obviously. I buy a lot of fast food. But part of the thing about recipes is sometimes like, wait, what is that? Where do I find that at? Sometimes. Matt Vince being awesome for 3 more games, maybe. It literally, you can find at your dollar store or Walmart, any place. You might go to the gas station and that ingredients of Matt Vince doing that will be there. And I think knowing that is the Buffalo, the championships check out at this point. But the fact that they know that's a sure thing is unbelievable. That is such a comforting thought. And so even if things are going wrong, you're looking over, we got Matt Vince. And maybe it's not this way next year. Maybe he finally hangs it up after a 4-peat. But I'm just saying for now, Buffalo feels like they've got the most comforting thing on their team, their most comforting ingredients, and it's Matt Vince being awesome for a few more games. All right. Let's shift away from the cookbook, and then we're going to get to my latest and could happen. We're going to play around with Graham Perro's website on the other side. You're watching Daily Dive. Stay tuned for Creating the Narrative.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis. It is Thursday, April 9th. 1:48 right now on the East Coast. Hope you guys are enjoying your lunch break or whatever you're doing right now. We appreciate you for giving us time out of your incredible day. I want to say that I love when they do this. An hour ago, the NLL posted an image. I'm going to show on the screen here. Again, credit to the NLL on this. Of course, it's not. Why would it show up, you dumb thing? Hold on. There we go. So they're showing. I love this. I absolutely love this. They showed this an hour ago on their social media. This is how the playoff picture would work right now. Colorado. Oh wow! Because obviously the Mammoth for the 1 seed. So Colorado would have to play Vegas. Whew. After the way that game went, wow, I like that matchup a lot. Swarm would have to play. I can't stand that. But hey, again, at this point in the season, Georgia would have the home field advantage. I think. I'm not predicting it, but there's a bigger than 10% chance I think Georgia might win that game if it happened today. It's not. Notice how Toronto would avoid Buffalo, but their reward for that is Saskatchewan in a single game and Vancouver in a 3-game series. That is unreal. That is unreal that if Toronto at this point in the season were to avoid Buffalo on their side of the bracket, that they would just have a date with the Russians. That's crazy. I know they beat them. Like, come on, that's not comfortable. Wow. How about episode 3 of Vancouver, Ottawa? Ottawa would I think feel good because they have been pretty good. You should know that. I think he's joking, but yes. And then of course in the hunt, Seals, Birds, and Nighthawks. Hey, here's a question for the viewers. Because we're not going to do this tomorrow, because we're going to do predictions tomorrow. Who do you want to see of those 3 teams? Let's do this. Of the teams not in the playoffs, meaning Halifax, Rochester, San Diego, which team do you think, if they make it, has the best chance to win the title? Oh, I just thought of a new poll, so I'm going to write that down now. Halifax, Rochester, San Diego. Which of those 3 teams has the best chance to make a finals run? I like that. I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of like. I like flip flop. It's not as much as I flip flop on offensive player of the year, but I feel like single game elimination in round 1 for some reason just feels awesome. I mean, yeah, maybe Colorado or no, maybe the Seals felt screwed by it. Dude, if you're the best team, just win. Just win, baby. I feel like single game elimination in round 1. I don't mind that. I kind of wish we had a 5-game finals, but where we're at now at the 1-3-3, I'm not mad at that. I think one in the round 1. It's unique to the sport, and again, I get it. Topic for another day. I like single game. If we're gonna have it, I like it in round 1. I think it causes a lot of chaos. I think it makes, like, if we had a 3-game series in round 1, I don't think it feels like a waste of time because obviously the better team would win, and maybe they should win if they're better. But also, if you're Colorado and you get upset by Vegas, it's on you, bro. But I love the fact that Ottawa, after playing Vancouver twice already, would have a chance to crack them in game 1 in 1 game. I actually kind of like that. It's like, and then we get serious, but I kind of like that. That's true. But I mean, social media hype, I think might help out this though. So I don't know. That is true. Like Colorado having 2 games at home in round 1 would be pretty awesome for them. So, oof. And then and then Vancouver, if Ottawa beats them, Vancouver might have 2 games at home in round 1. Even if Ottawa were to pull that series out, then that's the revenue part. Good Lord, I forgot about that. I shouldn't forget, but I did. All right, let's get to this now. Our latest could happen now. if you remember, and I'm not going to pull this up, but last week, and because remember, my could happen segment, not only is it fluffing the ears and the awesomeness of Graham Perro's NLLstats.com, it's also showing you why week to week in the NLL is one of the coolest things. Last week I did could happen. I had Vancouver with the 1 seed. I had Buffalo at 5, Ottawa 6, Toronto 7, Vegas 8. Now let's see how that has changed as we bring up our 9 through 14. There it is. So right now, I've got Halifax and Rochester and San Diego missing. I've got Oshawa, obviously Calgary, Philadelphia, duh. But here's how I look now in my top 8. Ottawa's now my 8th seed. Now they do win the final game against Halifax. But I got Saskatchewan back to my 1 seed. They kind of flirted with death a couple of times. We're back. Buffalo's up to 3. Toronto's down to 6. Again, Ottawa might be my biggest dropper there, but I still think they make it in. Maybe I'm crazy. And why is there an apostrophe next to that? Why do I do that? How do I put an apostrophe next to the Toronto Rock? Shame. Like, what is that? The 7th minute of the game? Get out of here. Shame on me. I don't want to show that graphic anymore. That's awful. Anyways, I encourage you guys. I know it's like a shorter segment, but like, head over again to NLLstats.com and check out the could happen section. It's impressive, man. Seeing how your team could make it, it's unreal. It's amazing. It shouldn't be free, but again, shh, don't tell him I said that. I don't know if he ever thought about it. I'm just saying, like, that's, if there's a feature on the website that I think we all would pay for, it would be the could happen. Just saying. All right. We come back. Let's create the narrative of this awesome. I don't want to see a league. I'll see awesome league. Who cares? I know I push back a lot on things, but we'll be right back. We're going to create the narrative. More hyping up the league. You're welcome, Brett Frood. We'll be right back.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening. You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
is Thursday, April 9th, 2026. On today's show so far, I have talked about the championship recipes for Georgia. Basically, just having all-time great defense in the playoffs. Toronto Rock, it was find out how to get past Buffalo, maybe avoid Buffalo. Even though, as you saw in our in the graphic the NLL posted, avoiding Buffalo might be like playing like devil here, like the devil on one side and Satan on the other. Like, come on, guys. Also, Nick Rose has got to be awesome. We talk about Colorado, maybe with championship recipe. I need a lot from Jack Hanna, and Dylan Ward needs to keep on doing whatever he was doing against Vegas in the fourth quarter. And for Buffalo, it was the fact that they can rely on Matt Vince is awesome. But also, if Joe Rez averages a goal a game in the playoffs, Buffalo might just be a 4-peat, like easily. I feel like if they 4-peat, I'm going to look back and see if how much goals he averaged. That might be like, okay, duh, he was awesome. And then, of course, we did our could happen, which went like this. I got Ottawa down to 9-9, but I think they do get in. Saskatchewan is back to my 1 seed. And Halifax, Rochester, San Diego tied for 7-11, but that's not good enough. And by the way, Toronto Rock's draft pick would be number 2. Very, very sad. All right, and again, the NLL posted this graphic, which I think is pretty cool, of when the season ended today. And I posted a graphic earlier, and then we'll get to our creating the narrative. This morning, I was doing I was at work, and I was literally creating a graphic. While I was looking up like some stats, I found out in the history of the National Lacrosse League, there have been not many seasons of 100 points and 100 loose balls. Now, I know some seasons are different, but the data goes back for quite a couple of decades now. And right now, because he did it again this season, I know Connor Fields has 4 seasons like that. Dane, Lyle, and Mitch Jones have 3 each. John Tavares only had 2. But folks, Jeff Teets still has the most points in NLL, the most seasons in NLL history with 100 points and 100 loose balls. I like that. I think it's kind of cool. So, and you notice on social media, I posted the other graphic. I was flirting with that one and this one. This is like, has the Ottawa backdrop to it. I don't know if we like this one or not. I thought I'd show the viewers and ask them. But yeah, there's the Ottawa version of that graphic in case you wanted to like look at it. So I'm proud of that. All right, let's get into creating the narrative for week number 20 in the National Lacrosse League. There are 7 games this weekend, which means a lot might be decided. Tomorrow, on Friday, there are 2 games. They start off at pretty different times, so I like that a lot. Toronto takes on Ottawa. And, buddy, let me tell you this right now. I think this is low-key. It's one of like those, it's not a game of the year. It's like a tier 2 game of the year. Like, we know Buffalo, Vancouver. We know Vancouver, Toronto was a good one. But leading up into this game, there won't be a bunch of hype for the, like, in terms of like national coverage. But I feel like Toronto and Ottawa is a pretty awesome game. Again, how does Ottawa suspend? How does Ottawa respond after dropping 3 games in a row? Can Toronto keep flexing? I know that they had a bad game against Philadelphia, but maybe the next game they played, they won. So what will they do here? Like, Toronto beat the Seals last week. Can their offense step up? Can they keep rebounding from that ugly Wings game? And again, like I said, for Ottawa, like, life support feels like, but winning this game would go a long way toward making the playoffs. Next up, Halifax and Vancouver at 9 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern time. Listen, man, Vancouver had a little bit of a kick in the stomach when they went to Buffalo. They're like, like, what happened to us? Well, what happened is, according to Kurt Malosky, might have been unprepared. We don't know. Whatever it was, don't let it happen again. Now you're back at home. I believe Del Bianco said they're going to be wearing the warm-up jerseys of that kid, Hayden Yerbury, which is really cool. But that being said, got to lock in Vancouver. Halifax does not need, I don't think, to win this game. But if they did, they would put a lot of hell into some teams that they're chasing. I know if they lose, it may not matter for them. But I'm telling you right now, Halifax is still hungry. And I think if Halifax wins this game, I think I could be wrong and push them more of the driver's seat for getting the playoff spot. Like, they may not have to beat Ottawa the last week. I could be wrong there, but they're still motivated to keep getting better. And they've been really good since they traded Dawson Thied. Not saying it was a Dawson Thied problem, but they have been competitive. They've been, clean in terms of like penalties. Like up here, they've been mentally strong. Warren Hill still has been awesome. So he's been great. So I think Halifax has a chance here. I think Vancouver's going to lock in. Calgary and Oshawa will be we'll start the Saturday games. There's actually one of 3 games at 7 o'clock on Saturday. We've got, like I said, Oshawa hosting Calgary. Oshawa just went into Calgary and won that game last week, and Oshawa's now 3-1 in their last 4. Their 3 wins are Philadelphia and Calgary. I'm just saying. But can the Firewolves, again, I keep saying it, can they somehow, some way save Glenn Clark's job? I don't think his job should be safe, but if there's a scenario they do so, they keep having another promising end of their season. Oh, but next year we'll be fine. I don't know. I think right now, Oshawa, I think they're the better team. But this season, you may not think that, but then you get another win here again. It just goes to show you what could have been once again for this team. And for Calgary, if they win this game, like they're going to get to a 5-12 record, and then their final week, they might actually scare the people who have the under 6 wins at that point. So that's at play here. But I mean, like, would we be surprised if they won? Absolutely not. And that's just shocking to me at this point in the season. They've looked pretty competitive. We'll see. The second, I call it second, but we have another game starting at 7 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. It's the Las Vegas Desert Dogs in Philly. Folks, we expect Vegas to win. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, well, will the Wings pull an upset? Nah, if they do, who cares? How many people are going to show up? So many Philadelphia fans are suddenly coming out in the woodworks. I know you were frustrated with the team, but I don't feel like all of you have been going to the games this year. And now, I'm not saying it's Philadelphia fans' fault here. But if all of you are going to go on social media and talk about this is the loud. Like Albany had a few chirpers. Rochester, when they were in trouble, had a few people like, oh, don't leave. Same thing with Panther City. Guys, Philadelphia has had by far the loudest of those groups of fans. So, how many people will show up? And I guarantee you, even if the barn looks empty, they're going to say a season high in attendance. Baloney. I want to look at my TV screen and really be able to tell if y'all actually showed up. I don't think anything else in this game matters. I think we all believe Vegas will win. If you think the Wings get a home win, so be it. You're a nice guy. I'm telling you right now, the talk of this game will be, can we see butts and seats? And if we see more seats than humans, I'm going to be upset come Monday's show. All right? You guys, you didn't bring it on yourselves, but when so many of you sounded off, rightfully so, now it's time to show up. Show the team what they're missing. I don't care if you bring 2 foam middle fingers for Comcast Spectacor. Do that. You got to show up, Philadelphia. You guys are too loud to not show up to that game, because if you don't, I will be on here Monday calling you out. And if you do show up, it will feel like a funeral, but it'll feel like what a legacy funeral. It won't feel like a boy, what a crappy franchise. The fans didn't care. We want the funeral to feel like, yeah, good life to live, right? Cool. Right. Rochester, Buffalo. Almighty, almighty. You know what? Earlier in the season, when Buffalo lost to Rochester was in their second game in 24 hours, and Buffalo lost. And it was like, oh my God, Buffalo. Like, you guys don't lose to Rochester. Well, now it's like Buffalo's a freight train again. So obviously, this game might get physical because it's a rivalry. I think Buffalo should win. I'm wondering, though, can Rochester sweep them? Is there, how much of a chance is there? Probably a big one. Can you imagine if Rochester sweeps Buffalo and they still miss the playoffs? That would be such it's kind of like in college football when Ohio State won the national championship, but they didn't beat Michigan. I know ultimately Buffalo winning 4 in a row, they wouldn't care about Rochester, but Nighthawks fans would not let them live that down. If Buffalo wins a 4th in a row and Rochester wins this game, it's going to be amazing in a couple of months here on this app, on Twitter. I'm just saying. As for the game, we expect Buffalo to roll here. I feel like this game could be competitive, though. I really do. I feel like Rochester, a lot of people want to count that they think they're going to get blown out. They might. I don't think they will, though. Little sneak peek for tomorrow. Final game on Saturday, Colorado at Saskatchewan. I believe Cody Jansen tweeted out this game will be on ESPNU. I think the NLL posted it too. They did. So this game will be on ESPNU. I keep telling people in Canada, that means absolutely nothing. Is it linear? Yeah. I have seen the numbers for those games. It is like 20,000 at best. That is brutal. I'm not saying they can't get more viewers this time. I'm telling you right now, United States viewers do not give a damn about ESPNU. That's why I get so frustrated when they're on that. It's like, bro, I promise you, you have to have some sort of awesome cable package to get ESPNU. There are packages with ESPN and ESPN2 that don't have ESPNU. That comes with the SEC and the A. You might as well be on ESPN Plus. I'm happy. Will they have more viewers than ESPN Plus? Sure. Is it a lot? God, no. God, no. It should be, but Colorado and Saskatchewan, who in the States is going to find that unless they're already an NLL fan? They're not going to. I'm telling you, numbers-wise, those games get at best 20,000 viewers. It's not good. But that being said, on the field, no one believes this, not even me, but this is technically a championship preview, or one of the games that could be like that. Kind of like last week, obviously Vancouver Buffalo. Week 18 was it? We had Buffalo, Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan, Toronto. I think Colorado, Saskatchewan is a kind of low-key possibility here. Now, based on this bracket, I hate when it does that. Based on this bracket here, they're on separate sides. So that is like a thing. Even like if the season ended today, these two teams could meet up in the finals. But I just thought I'd show that. But yeah, I think that this will be a potential finals preview. I think the Rush have got to win, first of all. The Rush cannot lose this game. It feels like, yeah, well, technically, they got to win. I don't see a scenario where anybody picks them to win anything if they lose this game. You can't do it, man. Like right now, the Rush are falling fast. They are 11-5. If you fall to 11-6 with the season that you've had, oh my God. Derek Keenan is going to start losing his hair. Get it? And finally, the Sunday game. It's San Diego at Georgia at 4 o'clock Eastern. I would go to that game, but I work Sunday nights. So, Georgia, I feel like we're going to see, is their home field advantage worth something here? I think these two teams are kind of evenly matched, especially on paper. I think actually Seals might have like I'll take Wesley Berg, Trey LeClaire in that crew. But I feel like this could be a very close game. But like Georgia, if their home field matters, I think they win this game. I think it does because I think the travel is just awful. Even though it is a Joe Tsai team coming into town, it feels to me that Georgia should win this game based on travel, based on Dobson over Urglieri. Even though Chris Urglieri's had a really good last few weeks, almost a month of lacrosse, it feels like Georgia should win. Like San Diego, like what do they have to play for? Like I know San Diego currently sitting at 6-9, and they could win their final 3 games. No one thinks they will. And based on the seasons these two teams have had, Georgia's like, if Georgia wins, like I think they eliminate the Seals or almost do so. But Georgia winning would feel awesome for them. If Seals win, they still might not make the playoffs, and that would be so crushing for Georgia. It also make me question the home field advantage. In fact, this season alone, Georgia at home, 4-3. It's not great. They have a better record on the road. So, and one of those home games, by the way, was Edmonton. So they're currently, that's crazy. Yeah, so they're currently like what would that be? 3-3 at home? That's crazy. I also think it's absolutely sad that they had to go to Edmonton. But they won, but it's like, come on, bro. All right. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday here. We've had fun here on Daily Dive. We'll see you tomorrow to do predictions and more. Same time, same place, North American Talk Radio's YouTube channel. Appreciate you for tuning in. See you tomorrow. This has been Daily Dive. Bye.